The city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
What do you mean, biblical?
What he means is Old Testament, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Okay, there is not going to be a disaster of biblical proportions, despite what Dr. Peter Venkman says, but something evil is coming. It's going to be big, it's going to be cold, it's going to be dangerous, but it's not going to be that marshmallow / Michelin man from Ghostbusters, but definitely something to prepare for. What do we know? We know there's a storm coming, with lots of snow. What else would you expect in this state? Just when you thought you had Mother Nature figured out, you and the groundhog were wrong. Spring is not here. Winter is still among us. But either you can still be in denial to walk outside to find your Prius completely buried in snow, or you can overcome the evil that's coming and make sure that you and those around you are safe throughout the storm. Okay, so let's get to it. I'm about to sound like a radio station here in a second because we're going to do a weather update. So bear with me. After all, this is a podcast. It's not live radio. But hopefully I do all right. Let's make Robin Williams proud. Side note, if you don't get that reference between Robin Williams and the military and live radio, there is no hope for you. The storm will consume you. Just kidding. All right, here's the weather. There is a major winter storm forecast that's going to impact the Bangor area later Wednesday night into Thursday. What's going to happen is there's going to be low pressure in the forecast. It's going to develop in the Carolina coastline, and it's going to strengthen as it heads northward toward Cape Cod and the islands, and into the Gulf of Maine on Thursday. We're going to get light snow on Wednesday during daylight hours, but it's going to get heavier as Wednesday night progresses. It's going to snow all day Thursday, and hopefully stop Thursday night. Okay, so how much snow are we going to get? You may want to sit down for this. 10 to 18 inches in this region of our state, 6 to 10 inches in the down east regions, and 8 to 10 inches in the very northern part of our state. To top it all off, not only are we going to get snow, but winds are going to be between 30 and 40 miles per hour at times on Thursday. So expect some power outages. Plan accordingly, and the storm will completely weaken by midday on Friday. That is your local weather forecast. So, is it a storm that's classified as a disaster of biblical proportions? No, it isn't. But it is evil. But don't call the Ghostbusters. Let's go over some quick tips on things that you can do to prepare for it. You thought spring was here, but you're wrong. So before you fire up that snowblower to get rid of all that evil white powder in your driveway, make sure that your driveway is clear of debris, marking posts, big rocks, chunks of ice, your neighbor's annoying chihuahua. Make sure all of those things are out of your driveway before you fire it up. Because as I said before, worst case scenario, if we get 18 inches of snow, all your foreign debris in your driveway that shouldn't be there is going to be covered in snow. And even though your snowblower is most likely made of metal and usually pretty durable, unless you bought it off some shady profile on eBay. Protect yourself, protect your snowblower, protect those around you that may be outside by picking up that foreign debris. Make sure you're driving safely. In the event that your workplace isn't canceled for the duty day, make sure you get there safely or you have a plan to get there safely. Don't unbury that Toyota Prius and attempt to drive that beast to work. It's not going to work out for you. Don't wait last minute. Prepare accordingly. Speaking of work cancellations, stay up to date with what's going on as far as updates with your work centers regarding the storm. We've mentioned before about signing up at maine.gov for alert notices. Make sure you and those around you do that. Make sure your people do that if you've got people who work for you. There's nothing worse than being out of the know and wasting time driving into work only to find that it's shut down. And for those of you who work here on base, make sure you sign up for your desktop alerts. You can put it in civilian emails, civilian cell phones, and if in the event only key personnel are to report to the base, you will be notified, and make sure you notify your coworkers. Food provisions. We're not talking about the apocalypse, but make sure you have enough food and water in your house in the event that you can't leave your house. That's just one more step you can take to prepare. Also, gasoline for those of you who have generators. If you remember the storm we had back in October, the gas stations were packed because no one had gas on standby at their house. Not to mention the fact there was no power, so some gas stations couldn't accept credit cards. You had to pay cash. Just prepare accordingly. We want everyone to be safe. We want everyone to stay safe. And in order to do that, you have to be one step ahead and constantly be thinking of what you can do to prepare. And that's it. Pass this information on to those around you, and let's hit this storm head on. And like our friend Ray the Ghostbuster once said,
Well, that wasn't such a chore now, was it?
that's right. Work smarter, not harder. So long.